Hello, everyone. I forgot to check what number this was. That odds with the Unbreakable Spirit.
I'm the executioner, Daniel Travis.
Now, I know what y'all are expecting. This is going to be a pop culture episode. We're probably going to talk about something DC related. Man, for pop culture, we really need to do stuff
Yeah,
other than DC Comics. But something monumental happened in
historic.
the world of yeah, in the world of professional wrestling this week. So monumental, so historic. We felt, and by we I mean I felt, that we're gonna break the cycle this week and talk about something pro wrestling related. Only one topic though, and to make up for that and reset the cycle for the next 2 weeks after this week, we'll be talking about pop culture in some form or fashion.
Yes. However, now, the one thing that I want to say is, that I'll get started here is The Rock showing up there was great, but it was very, now thinking about it, is maybe he wasn't in the heel persona because he was playing the corporate guy, you know?
Yeah, and for those and Travis didn't let me mention what that one topic is. Our thoughts on Raw's move to Netflix.
Yes. But like I was saying, is that it's basically started off with a cool opening video package, Triple H coming, cutting a promo, and then The Rock
Again, cutting a promo.
again cutting a promo.
We
But he
learned
was actually
that
like,
The Rock is now the High Chief of the island of Samoa.
yeah. But it was just weird because he was like, "Hey, I'm a babyface," bro. Just like, what?
But Rocky, you got the heel theme, you got the heel entrance, but yet you're a babyface?
Hey,
If anything deserves a people's eyebrow, it's that.
yeah, what's up? What's up? Wait, I'm sorry. What the hell's going on? But
Yeah,
like if The Rock comes back, I just want to say this about The Rock. I they'd be like, yeah, sure, The Rock gave Cody his props, but I just want to say this, and I need to get this off, but just Rock, you had multiple opportunities in your promo to absolutely roast the out of Cody.
yeah, because Rock, you had an option to say, don't get it wrong, Cody Rhodes. The Rock respects you, but that doesn't mean the next time we square off one-on-one, the Rock's gonna whoop your candy butt.
I'm like, hell, it's Netflix. He could probably have cursed if he wanted to.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the show was PG.
But yeah. Then we started off with Tribal
Tribal
Combat,
combat.
which, like you said, what was your thoughts about that whole about the first segment of the first match?
I thought tribal combat meant no members of the bloodline could interfere.
Yeah, because the last
If
time we
that
had,
is not the case, then
yeah,
tell me why the new bloodline got involved, which caused the old bloodline to get involved.
I mean, hell, did everyone forget that when we had the first tribal combat match, when his brother turned on him, that sort of happened during said tribal combat match?
Yeah, but by then, wasn't Jay no longer a part of the bloodline faction?
Uh, All right, yeah, Jay was, but Jimmy turned heel.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, like, my thought on,
I will say it's good to hear Pat McAfee back behind the commentary desk.
yes,
But I will say, and I've told you this, I've told people who I'm friends with on Facebook about this, I give the show a 9 out of 10. I will explain why later.
yeah, overall, the match, was good. I thought that there'd be a lot more. For some reason, I was expecting a lot more of a violent match between these two. Wasn't really as violent as I. Wasn't exactly as brutal as I thought it would be between these two.
Yeah, I'm about to tell you something that might make you dock a few points of the show for your rating of it. Pentagon Jr.'s and Becky Lynch's debut and return, respectively, were cut from the show because Rock went overtime in his promo.
Yeah, I heard the Becky Lynch one I knew about.
Yeah, but Penta.
Not so much. I was like, yeah, okay.
Anyways,
Yeah,
I don't remember the next match, but I do remember a segment. But actually, after the tribal
Roman.
combat match, Paul was getting ready to put the Unifala on the winner, the OTC, the original tribal chief, the only tribal chief. I guess we should call him the UTC now, the undisputed tribal chief, Roman Reigns, regained the Unifala. And the Rock, the wise man, Paul Heyman, was getting ready to put the Unifala and acknowledge his tribal chief, like you all should be doing. But then The Rock came out. We thought The Rock was going to turn on Roman.
Nope.
Instead, The Rock, the High Chief, Saul or whatever his Samoan name is, put the Unifala on the tribal chief, continuing to acknowledge Roman as the tribal chief. I swear I thought he was going to hit a rock bottom on Roman just to regain his heel heat.
Yeah, same here. But because when you think about it, after Roman won the match, did anyone else notice like how that Roman Reigns sort of had like an emotional sort of moment after he won that match?
Yes, I am aware that that's part of the reason I thought Rock was going to turn heel.
But I think, but for those of you that don't know, why was Roman, acting very much more emotional is because the last time he got that Ulafala, he
It
got it,
was from his dad, right? His dad and his
yeah,
uncle?
yeah, who both died.
Yeah.
That was why Roman was so
And I'm
emotional.
pretty sure his uncle is the father of the Gorillas of Destiny.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, still
Yeah,
no Hikuleo, no Lance Anoa'i, no. Like, if the two bloodlines are merging, that's gonna be a huge faction. Like, let's be real.
yeah, because
We might not have room for an honorary Uso.
it raises a question before we continue. That is, it's Solo. If if Solo does actually be a man of his word, will the other members of the new bloodline do the same thing or not?
I'm not sure if Jacob Fatu will, because it's like one of the only things he says is, I love you, Solo. And we know he's
Yeah,
not talking about the song. He's talking about Solo Sikoa.
yeah. I mean, I'm intrigued to see you. And of course, we had the women's. We had a John Cena segment, which I will
I
say,
think that might also have gone a little long.
yeah. But in my honest opinion, I'm like, you're starting your retirement tour, and you're not having a match on the said tour to
And
start the tour.
he was dressed in his ring attire too.
Yeah,
I think that match might have been cut due to time, and we'll explain why that. And again, we'll go back to the time a little bit later.
no, we can go. Yeah,
Well,
we
there's
gotta
one
get
more thing I want to cover from the show before we talk about the length of it.
what?
How about the fact that 2K25 was announced on the show?
Oh yeah, with Paul Heyman. When can I have the whole world acknowledge you? January 27th. I'm like, Roman's gotta be on the cover.
And fun fact, Steam actually spoiled it when they put the game up because it had the cover on it and it's Roman getting ready for a Superman punch with a 2K25 logo down the side.
Yeah, but yeah, we had a new women's world champion. That match should have had a stipulation, if I'm honest.
Or maybe at least like Raquel and Dominic banned from ringside.
Something.
And Dominic actually thought he was the Latino Heat and tried to get back with Mommy, only for future generations of the Mysterios to be put at risk.
Yeah. And then we had the main event.
And this is where the timing comes into factor.
What do you say that?
The show was 3 hours long.
Yes.
Exactly 3 hours long. Which is the problem. We did not see the finish of the match on Netflix.
No, we did.
We did?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Because I remember it going from a commercial break saying CM Punk and then, the live stream ended.
It was after the match.
I don't remember seeing the finish to the match, so agree to disagree.
What happened was Punk hit him with the GTS. He fell
I
back
did not
on
see
Punk.
that.
Punk hit him on a G, hit it, then he fell back on his shoulders, hit him with. No, wait, no. Hang on. Yeah, no. The finish was a suplex Falcon Arrow counter GTS 1, 2, 3.
I did not see that.
Yeah. But anyway.
I will check on YouTube after this to see if you're correct.
Okay. But anyway, like, the show was solid.
It
was good.
was insane, dude.
I wouldn't really call it. It didn't really honestly feel like a mini mania.
Why do you
Not
think
really.
I called it insane? They go all out for WrestleMania.
Except, yeah. I mean,
But why did they have superstars in the audience?
Yeah, I thought that was a bit weird because the one thing I want to say is, and I need to get this off my chest here, is that if Braun Breaker is supposed to be the face of the Netflix era Monday Night Raw, why the hell was he in the crowd?
I feel like the only superstar that made sense to be in the crowd, she's not even a superstar. She's a Hall of Famer, Nikki Garcia, a.k.a. Nikki Bella.
Yeah, I mean, other than, like, we had, like, yeah, because back to the time I think you mentioned, where Undertaker made his return, that was supposed to be Becky.
Yeah, that tracks. If I'm being 100, that tracks.
Yeah.
But Undertaker was in the main event of the first episode of Monday Night Raw. We couldn't have an episode, a historic episode like this, and not have the Undertaker appear.
Yeah, and then we also had,
We had Hulk Hogan brother who was getting booed out of the building.
Yeah.
Why? I have no idea. They were in California. Maybe it's because he supported our presidential-elect, but we're not a political podcast.
No. But overall, like, the show was, like, we forgot, there also was the Jey Uso match, which was okay.
Yeah, it was okay. Could have been better.
I mean, honestly, the one thing I was expecting with Travis Scott being there, like, the one thing I was expecting Travis, like, what I was expecting is Travis Scott to at least I was expecting the theme song to be performed at the beginning of the episode.
I mean,
or something.
keep in mind, with the show having a cold open, They didn't even have like an open in video package showing the roster, so we're
Yeah,
probably gonna see that this coming Monday.
yeah, because for those of you that don't know, Monday Night Raw, for all we know, could go to 2 hours. They didn't really have any time limits. They can go however long they want.
Yeah, and you told me they're trying to do a good middle ground between 2 hours and 3 hours, so like 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
That's literally the middle point.
I mean, like overall, I thought like the show was good. There was a lot of, there was some, there was some banger matches. There were some matches that I thought could have been better.
We should have seen the conclusion to the women's IC title tournament.
Yeah,
And something tells me, dude, that something's gonna happen that's gonna take either Lyra or Dakota out of the match, and they're gonna be replaced by Becky Lynch.
that's good. Yeah,
I don't know why I have that feeling, but me spidey senses as a wrestling mark are going off.
that yeah, that does make a lot of sense to be honest. That does make a lot of sense. I can 100% see that happening. I mean, like, what are your thoughts on the Raw episode debut? I will say I feel like the show flew by.
It did. It felt like a SmackDown that was being GM'd by Teddy Long.
Yeah,
Like, it flew by, but I was enjoying every minute of it. Even if I didn't see the finish to the match because I legitimately don't remember seeing it. I'm not saying that it wasn't shown on TV. I just wish we had seen more of the post-match celebration to make that clear.
yeah. No, I will say overall, I thought we had good matches. Did I think there could have been more matches for the very first episode? Yes.
Yes, it should have had more matches.
You only had four. You had
You had, when you were on USA and you were on 3 hours, you would have like 8.
yeah. You had four matches. You had the tribal combat. You had Jay versus
Drew.
Drew. You had the women's world title. Then you had CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. That's it.
Yeah, when you would have like double that when you were 3 hours on cable television.
Yes.
Like, seriously, WWE?
Honestly, something I was expecting is I was expecting, oh, I don't know, Braun Breaker to throw out an Intercontinental title open challenger and John Cena accepted or something crazy.
Yeah, and like, we don't know when Cena's gonna. Oh, wait, yes, we do. February 1st.
Yeah,
Because let's not forget, in Cena's very, very, very long promo, he announced that he'll be in the Royal Rumble match.
yeah. Which John, I'm gonna be clear. John Cena, because you're retiring, is the only reason I'm letting that shit slide. The only reason I'm like, hey, I'm cool with you announcing you joining it because you're retiring. That's it.
Yeah, but why did he have to change up his merch if he's retiring?
Yeah. No, I will say, in my honest opinion, I think you should have, and I just want to talk about John Cena's retirement real quick, is I think they should have John Cena. If you really want to go all out for John Cena's retirement, is have him have matches, you know, have him have like a match on Raw, have him have a match on NXT, have him have a match on SmackDown.
Have him elevate newer stars.
Yes.
But also, if you want to talk about John Cena, what I want to see from him is I want him to achieve that Omega Grand Slam where he's held every title he could conceivably hold.
Yeah.
And I want to see him hit 17.
Yeah. Now, I will say, I will give Raw credit that the opening for Raw, great. Yeah, but did they really need, like, my whole one gripe about this episode, like, one thing is, I thought it was weird that they had, advertisement logos. I mean, I know that they have it for pay-per-views because of Prime, but I thought it was weird for Raw to have.
Yeah, I just realized of all the advertisement logos they had in there, Prime was not one.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of odd.
What?
Like,
You're
eh?
saying you're gonna put stuff in the ring, but not the official energy drink of the WWE and their sister company UFC. I'm pretty sure you had
Suspicious.
Hulk Hogan's beer logo on the ring, Real American Beer.
Brother.
But
But yeah,
so you'll have an alcohol logo, but not an energy drink. One that is smack dab in the center of the ring at all PLEs, like an ugly eyesore.
but you don't have it in the middle of the ring on Monday Night Raw?
Yeah, which can we talk about how Raw's now has a black mat?
Yeah, and SmackDown has a blue mat.
I'm surprised. Well, NXT already kind of has a silver mat because it's just a regular mat.
Yeah, I thought them having a black mat was, interesting.
Eh,
I mean, I guess it's a way to see the wrestling easier. I guess. I don't know.
yeah, and like we don't know if this is the same for SmackDown, but we know it is for Raw and NXT. But the referees got new.
Yeah,
Like this is truly a new era for WWE.
yeah. I mean, besides like the blue ring apron for SmackDown, which was weird.
And also, we got the ring announcers switched up a little bit. Really, only two switches.
Yeah,
Lillian Garcia and why am I blanking on her name? Alicia Taylor. They
yeah,
literally swapped shows.
yeah. And then overall, I thought Monday Night Raw for its first episode, it was good. I'm just wondering okay, how do you keep up this momentum for a solid, okay, you had your premiere. You had a very, very high premiere. Now, how are you going to keep that momentum up for a solid 10 years?
Yeah, you have 1 week down, only 519 to go.
Not only you have to do this year, but you have to keep this momentum going. 10.
Yeah, and for those who are wondering how I got that math, 52 times 10 is 520, subtracted by 1 is 519.
But overall,
All I'm saying is they better be in Vegas for week 420.
But overall, I thought like the show was good. I don't know if they're gonna go back to Los Angeles with what the hell's going on over there right now.
Yeah, prayers for everyone caught up in the California fires. Well, why is that a thing in this decade?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just like, you know what I mean?
Uh, but overall, like I thought the episode was good. I thought my best guess is for next week. Chad Gable's opponent is gonna be Penta.
Yeah,
I'm guessing.
even so, the greatest luchador, and that to me says Rey Mysterio, but it's probably gonna be Penta.
Yeah, but overall, I give the episode if I were to give it a ranking personally, I give it a 9.5 because like all the matches were solid. I just wish they had more matches and more crazy things happen on this premiere episode.
Yeah, this might be a controversial opinion, but I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10, but only because I wanted it to be longer,
Yeah,
which
cause
is
on
weird for me to say.
yeah, cause like honestly, I was expecting a lot more moments that made me go, "Oh, didn't see that coming," but instead it was just more of, "Okay."
Yeah, yeah, I will admit I did kind of feel that, but then again, this will be like, what, my 16th year as a wrestling fan or something.
Yeah, the
I've kind of become desensitized to all this.
yeah, but overall, like the show was good. There was a lot of good matches. Did I wish that it kind of felt like a WrestleMania, but if it were to feel like a WrestleMania, you would have had a lot more moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there would have been at least one concert, but we didn't get a concert. But we
Yeah, the
got an
one cut.
opening video package, which is like what they do for PLEs when they have a big match to promote.
Yeah,
And they'll even show free promo packages for matches that haven't happened yet and aren't the next match up.
yeah. My final thoughts are, I thought the show was good. There was a lot of good matches, but it does raise a question of where Roman Reigns goes from here. And I honestly believe that the Seth Rollins CM Punk stuff, oh, that stuff is just beginning.
Yeah,
But what are your fun? What are yours?
for me. Like I said, show 9 out of 10. It was good. Could have used more matches. Could have used more backstage segments too, to be honest.
Yeah,
We had like one.
yeah. You had like one segment with the GM, which was
Yeah, and Travis
odd.
was literally asking me during the show, "Where's Adam Pierce?"
I mean, like, 'cause, like, look, the only reason I'm saying that, I just want to explain my reason to everybody is because he's the GM of Monday Night Raw. You would think he'd be involved in more than one segment.
But most segments happened like on the stage.
Yeah.
Yes, timer, I know you're going off. And
Alright.
we already did our final thoughts, so
Peace out.
we'll see you next week with pop culture.
Yep.